Good morning. I am Robert Ockman, and welcome to the March Wednesday Morning Roundtable program. Thanks to our membership, we appreciate your support. Although content is free and accessible, if you haven't joined yet, please do. Visit auburndowntown.org and click the Roundtable tab. Today's topic is Cayuga Community College and the City of Auburn's DRI projects, with CCC President Dr. Durant and City Staff Christina Selvek, Director of Capital Projects and Grants, and Renee Jensen, Senior Planner, and City Manager Jeff Dygert will also join the program. And Stephanie DeVito, the Downtown Auburn Bid Executive Director, will moderate this session. The bid program is brought to you by Tompkins Trust Company. Stephanie, I'll let you take it from here.
Great, thank you, Robert. So good morning, everyone. Again, I would like to welcome you all, and I would like to thank the city and CCC and everyone for their perseverance and their determination to bring these projects to fruition as part of the Downtown Revitalization Initiative. Of course, myself being the bid director downtown, and all these projects are centrally located in the downtown area. These projects are definitely very near and dear to my heart. So again, thank you to the city. Thank you, CCC, for all your due diligence. And it's been a long time coming for these projects to come about. But I myself, and I think I can speak on behalf of the downtown bid district, we are absolutely thrilled, and it's just a pleasure and an honor to work with all of you. So thank you so much, greatly appreciated. So we're going to start with Dr. Durant, and as Robert mentioned, he's with CCC, and one of the projects under the Downtown Revitalization was the Culinary Arts Center, which is located in the Plaza of the Arts, as we all know it, and which it's actually termed. So I'm going to start by just saying again, welcome, Dr. Durant, and can you just give us an idea of how this project came about?
Well, thank you, and good to be with you. And it certainly is my pleasure to be able to give an update on our culinary project as part of not only the DRI, but certainly part of us moving forward the priorities of Cayuga Community College. And so, this particular idea kind of comes from really two different directions, if you will. I can remember years ago, I think it was before one of the first DRI applications, having conversations with the mayor and having conversations with Chuck Mason and others about some of the visioning for the city of Auburn and some of the hopes that the DRI could bring in the future through some of the process of developing, the grant applications and the visioning for the city. At the same time, the college faculty here were developing and had, already in process a culinary arts program, and had been looking at partnering with other sites and looking at possible opportunities for, for future development for the institution. And really learning what our needs are within the organization and starting to identify them for us as a college, and hearing about the visioning for the city and the priorities that may exist within the DRI applications both that year and in future, it made sense for us to be able to look for potential opportunities in downtown to be able to create a program space that could serve our culinary arts program and perhaps other emerging needs, and to strengthen the identity of the college within the greater community, and really helping us to position, in a way that builds upon our successes we've already had with our recent project with Child Care Center, recent projects with Falcon Park, and being able to really look at the opportunity of what could make sense to be next. And culinary arts made sense, and we certainly were very grateful to be able to find partners at Plaza for the Arts to be able to put a facility in such a high traffic, highly visible area downtown, to be able to bring the college's identity to downtown and to help create this wonderful modern space for education to support our new culinary program.
That's great. I love the idea of attracting college students, especially into our downtown area, because probably as you're familiar with, we as BID had tried to really connect with the students out at the college, and actually Jesse had worked on a student discount program, for the college students to come into the downtown area to attract that population. So, we're really grateful that you are going to be pursuing this downtown, and it's going to be opening soon. So that's really great. Can you just kind of give us an overview of the project scope?
So the scope is pretty, is pretty extensive, but from an overview perspective, creating a modern, a brand new kitchen and educational space that's going to have multiple student stations and certainly teaching stations that is of the highest of quality for a commercial kitchen space. And that this really, the priority of the project is for educational delivery focused on our credit bearing program of an associate's degree in culinary arts. And so the way that it's been constructed and designed has been to, incorporate the best and modern practices for educational delivery for culinary arts. And I think as people are going to be able to see the space in the future and hopefully participate in various activities that the space will bring, we're going to really be able to showcase something we should all be proud of about, having such a wonderful, modern, high-tech kitchen that will be able to showcase what what's out there in industry, bring it forth to be able to have our instructors facilitate instruction on the best sort of equipment in the best way so that their techniques and skills are developed, and to put them in the best position for hiring upon completion of the degree program. So the primary issue of the scope here is an educational space that's focused on, having multiple stations to serve multiple students at one time, that we can deliver our curriculum for a culinary arts program. It also comes with space that's going to be able to be utilized in various forms for our institution and the community as it makes sense for, some smaller events. There is space that's outside that can be used for, I think, a variety of creative ways. And there certainly will be some space within the facility that can be used for, other sort of baseline events or engagements. And we certainly look forward to maximizing this resource, not only for the institution, but and partnering in various ways with other entities that can make sense over time.
Now, Dr. Durant, is there any plan in the scope to have walk-in traffic so that folks and customers can come in and purchase the food that the students had made?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I know that, we have a number of people in our community that are familiar perhaps with other institutions, culinary centers and sites, and what those facilities may or may not bring. For us at Cayuga, what we're looking really at here is the short-term vision is to be focused on the delivery of the educational program, because similar to how we take on other initiatives here at the college, we're really primarily focused on, getting the high quality curriculum in place, attracting students, getting the students involved within the degree programs themselves. And then from there, that's going to build our strength to see, okay, how can we engage in other ways in the community? Are there opportunities for community dinners or lunches? Are there opportunities for community catering that may or may not be able to occur with the facility? So I guess what I would say to that at this point, it is not the priority of the space itself, other than perhaps in some targeted engagements. Listen, we know as a new culinary facility coming in downtown, there are a number of great existing restaurants, a number of great existing opportunities down there that certainly our goal is to help enhance, not compete. And certainly part of the way we enhance it is by providing some training and resources to help support the human resource needs both now and in the future. And so, but down the road, certainly the products that our students are creating, in whatever ways that can make sense, we want to be able to provide an opportunity for people to experience, and that will be a priority as we move forward. But at this point, we know what the best way to set this facility up for its best success and highest level of utilization is to focus on our curriculum and to focus on attracting students and getting them involved.
Absolutely. Address one layer at a time, right? How was the Plaza of the Arts location? How was that determined and decided upon to be your final site?
So it really, there were opportunities for us to kind of get a sense from really the city and other partners of what facilities existed, how did it, what might be available, what are the future needs, and so on and so forth. And when we became aware certainly talking with Dan Souls and others of the vacancy in Plaza for the Arts and what has existed there in the past, some of the infrastructure that was there, certainly the quality of the building, the location, access to parking, access to be highly visible. It really checked a number of boxes for the institution as the right place at the right time for this endeavor to move forward. And so really, when we looked at other sites, everything had its strength, but looking at this one for us, it really just seemed to make a lot of sense from the structure that existed and also the opportunity to be able to position ourselves in that particular location. And what's really nice about it too, when you look at the other projects that are supported by DRI, we're kind of in the middle of where everything else is as well. And so it really just shows how spread out the opportunities to enhance our city has become from these resources, and that's really exciting for us to see. So it really came about really with the right partners that wanted to support us, and the facility with the infrastructure that made sense, and we really could see ourselves there. And it was an affordable option, and is one for us that we knew would fit our priorities and what we were looking to set up as part of our infrastructure.
Yeah, and I think I can safely speak on behalf of all of us. We're thrilled that you made that decision to come in the downtown district and and be part of our downtown family, as I call it. So yeah, that's great. You kind of segued into my next question. You mentioned the word partnerships. So being that your presence is going to be in the downtown area, what kind of partnerships do you foresee for the future that are going to be helpful to you?
Well, this is, I think, where our real strength is as a community, right? Looking at ways for us to identify, to connect with other entities to be able to maximize the resources that each of us can bring forward. And so for us, as we look ahead for possible partnerships, we believe that there will be opportunities in sort of the non-credit experiential side of the institution for community-based instruction that will allow people to be able to come in and have evenings where they can learn how to prepare particular cuisines, learn how to be able to have experiences with different chefs. Perhaps we can showcase other regional talent. There's a number of ways that we want to be able to leverage this facility, and we think that it can make some sense. If there are partners in entertainment and partners and certainly in the other social aspects of the community that want to explore possibilities with us, we'll certainly stand ready to identify ways for us to make sense, because the more we can utilize this facility and give our students the chance to gain experiences and to be able to show each other what value can bring to create one site with other partners as a destination, then that's something that we want to be a part of. And so I'm sure that the creativity in our community and the ideas are there. And as we open and get our feet underneath us, we certainly will look forward to various ways that we can help support other organizations with creating experiences to attract people to downtown, engage in all of our facilities.
That's awesome. Very good. Can you just give us a snapshot of how the project was financed?
Well, let me be clear. This project would not be done without the funds of the DRI. It would not have been able to be accomplished. The $800,000 that we're able to be secured as part of the DRI for us is a significant part of the funding, at least of the upfront funding that is needed to have this sort of vision become reality. And so for us, that was a big chunk of it. The other big piece that's allowed us to support it, certainly we have institutional funds involved in some of the educational technology and equipment, but the other aspect of this is part of our partners long term have been able to help us get the space ready and sort of a turnkey sort of facility as well that will be able to help maximize the efficiencies of getting this done earlier. And so it's been really a three-pronged approach between sort of long-term support of our partners, the institutional resources to the things that were appropriate for us to pre-buy and to support in education technology and equipment, as I mentioned. And then the DRI fund really is the main piece of financing here that's allowed us to do it. Obviously, being in the Plaza for the Arts, this is we have a 10+ year lease arrangement with the facility, And it's one that, that helps bring the stability not only to the space itself, but to us and our investment for our future and for the development of this program. And so, between the leases, the supports from our partners, and as well as the DRI funds, we would not be here without the support, and I think the visioning of others as well.
Great. I know we're probably 3/4 of the way there, but can you kind of give us an idea of what the time frame for completion is? And then again, I'm assuming you had a lot of local contractors, and if you could kind of just touch upon who has been doing the work for you. I would assume mostly local contractors in that sense.
Yeah, so the most of the construction has actually been managed through Souls and partners, and so, but I can speak mostly to the timeline and where we are at. We have worked diligently, and they have done an amazing job of trying to get this project originally open for last fall. That was our target. And in all likelihood, we would have been able to make it in fall 2020 for the semester if it wasn't for the pause, requirements of the state, and certainly was not for the, the global pandemic that we've all been, working through and reeling with. And so at this point, the project stands to be 95+% complete. And we are, awaiting some things that are out of our control, honestly, that are going to be finalized. And we will be up and open for the fall semester to be able to be serving students. And we're hopeful that later this spring, early summer, we'll be able to have an appropriate social distancing opening event to celebrate, certainly the city of Auburn, certainly our partners, our future students and our institution, that we all together came to accomplish something that's something we're proud of. So, the timeline is basically complete, waiting a few minor things. And then we're going to be ready to open and serve students, and that's an exciting thing, and it's really exciting to see all the other momentum that's happening downtown over recent years, and infrastructure, and certainly the other projects that are up in process through the DRI. And for us to be one of them at the college, we're very proud of it. I know our trustees are, and we're really looking forward to see all the other projects to get 95% and open as well. So we're just glad to be a part of it, and I'm glad to see that this visioning, the hard work that went into the grant to be created by the staff at the city and others, that that work and sacrifice has been worth it, and we certainly are very grateful.
Well, we're thrilled that you're going to be coming downtown, and again, it's a great addition to have you all in the downtown, and it's exciting. We're looking forward to it. So thank you so much for all the insight that you shared with us in regards to what will be up and coming extremely soon. So thank you, Dr. Durant.
Thank you.
We're going to move over to Christina Selvek with the City of Auburn, and she's going to be giving us some information about the public safety building. So thank you, Christina. And first, I'd like to start out is, can you just kind of give us an overview of how the idea came about?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me and for this opportunity to provide a update on this important project. Back really quickly to our Culinary Arts Center. I'm going to look forward to that fall catalog, and I know I have a budding chef in the house, and she can't wait. So we're really excited for you guys to be downtown and to start utilizing that facility. So on to public safety. So the City of Auburn, the fire headquarters is about a 1930, brick building. It is purpose-built for fire safety, but it's in no means a modern day, facility. So the facility itself does not meet a lot of modern day requirements, such as Americans Disability Act and access to the building for the public, health and safety requirements for our firefighters. It's lacking storage, a number of things. It also was, even though it's a purpose-built facility, it was never constructed in a way to house modern day fire apparatus. A lot of the ladder trucks and the pumpers, can weigh in excess of 60 to 80,000 pounds. They get larger as the safety requirement needs increase for our firefighters. And so we're actually very limited in the vendors that we can work with for apparatus to be housed within our fire headquarters on Market Street. This idea is not a new idea. It's been around for decades, and really because of the DRI process and the community support that we received through that process, were we able to revisit the idea and now to have it come to fruition.
Yeah, that's great. Can you give us an overview of what the project scope looks like?
Sure. So we have a new facility. It's currently under construction. We're really excited about that. The facility is centrally located still within the city of Auburn, and that was chosen for a number of reasons. The fire department has to meet certain response times for its ISO rating. So we really wanted a site that could still hit east and west and north and south access points very easily. We also wanted to make it a priority to choose a location for the new facility that was an adaptive reuse of urban space. We didn't want, greenfield space. We wanted to enhance a site that was already, embedded in our urban fabric. So the building is going to be a 30,000 square foot facility. Adaptive reuse, so we're reusing part of the strip mall that was there, and then building a brand new apparatus bay for a lot of the fire apparatus. So we have really an administrative building and then an apparatus building.
Can you touch upon who the building tenants will be and what kind of emergency services that will provide?
Sure. So the primary user is going to be our Auburn Fire Department. All right. And then within the administrative component, the complex there, we will also be co-partnering with Cayuga County Emergency Management Office and relocating the Emergency Operations Center, which for the whole county is in the basement of the county office building. Not really a great location and prone to flooding, definitely needed to be modernized. So we're actually going to remove that and relocate it to the new facility, which will have backup generators, connections for modern day IT and other things. So it's a good partnership with the county. And because of the new facility, we are actually going to be moving some of our Auburn IT infrastructure over there too, for purposes to meet a lot of the new safety requirements these days. So yeah, so we have three main components.
Okay, that's great. Can you talk a little bit about how the project is going to be enhancing the neighborhood around that area?
Yeah, definitely. As I'm sure people can see already, we're well underway, and, it was definitely right from the get-go, the city's intent and hope that a municipal building would be a catalyst, for renewed interest and economic investment in that neighborhood and section of the city. We've worked very hard with the neighbors to talk about, egress and access points and improvements for pedestrian, areas there. And then of course, Willard Chapel and, the visual impact there on that landmark, and working with them to remove overhead infrastructure and overgrown fence lines and really reopen that space to what the campus style used to kind of feel like. So we're really looking forward to the end product and what that's going to do for the neighborhood. And we're hoping it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's what came to my mind too. It creates that campus style feeling again. So that'll be really nice to see. It's looking great. When I drive by it, it's looking really nice and it's coming along. So
yeah, masonry's at work. So we're now that hopefully we're over the winter hump, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Knock on wood.
At least for the next couple of days we will be. We should be okay. And then we might transition back into winter, but for not long. Christina, you touched upon this a little bit, but can you kind of share with us the partnership with the city and the county in regards to the aspect of the project?
Sure. So the city and the county several years ago tried to come together for a public safety complex. And that has county really was embedded in the Cayuga County Shared Services Plan. I think it was their 2018 plan. And together we said, you know what, we really need to make sure that in the state of an emergency, you know, whether it's pandemics or floods, you know, that we're tend to be more prone to, you know, and that is my emergent or light for my office.
Yeah.
I know the viewers at home can't see it, but I have a large screen behind me, and because I'm a little short stature, it doesn't see me in the office, so it keeps turning off. So sorry, everyone. So yes, so we continue to embrace that partnership with the county through the shared services plan, and they've been good partners, and we look forward to having them in the building with us.
Awesome. So can you kind of give us an idea of how the project was financed?
Sure, and nod to Dr. Durant as well. I don't know if without the DRI funding, you know, we would have had enough funding assistance to push us over the edge to get to where we are today. So I know the city is incredibly thankful to the state for a round 3 DRI funding award to our community, and those funds are really going a long ways to help a number of projects, you know, meet their financing goals. So we have a 3-prong approach for funding for this project. As everyone knows, the DRI, that was $1.2 million. 2 years prior, the city, which really kind of started everything, was awarded actually a climate smart community grant from New York State DEC. And many people might think, well, why is DEC helping the city with the fire station project? The current facility is actually located in our Owasco River inundation zone. And the state has made it very clear that they're looking to relocate emergency and important facilities like police and fire stations out of these inundation zones, and to make sure that they're available when we actually need them for emergency services. So that scored very highly with the state, and that's why we were funded. And then of course the city's own general funds of about 6.8 million for the project. So we have a total budget of 10 million. We're currently under that budget, and we hope to stay that way.
Great, thank you. Can you talk a little bit about what the plans might look like for the additional space, possibly, you know, in the APD building? What's going to happen once that becomes vacant and the fire moves over to the public safety building?
Sure, and I know City Manager Dygert is on the call too. So at the moment, we are still on track to relocate the fire department during this summer, and hoping for a substantial completion of a project mid to late September this year. So we are moving right along, and you know, look forward to a ribbon cutting with you guys in the fall time. In terms of the space that the fire department currently houses at the headquarters, you know, we're gonna work to evaluate that space. It's gonna take us a little while to relocate and move and vacate. And so I'm hoping to have a little more information for you guys, you know, next winter when we do our next capital planning.
Okay, great, thank you. And I know you already touched upon the time frame of the completion of the building, but in regards to the work that has been done in the building as far as contractors and all, you know, were you able to use local contractors as part of that building process?
Yeah, definitely. That was very,
Awesome.
very important to us for this project. And building new buildings, as a lot of you know, there's a lot that goes into it. So we do have Huber Brewer, who's serving as our construction administrator and inspector on the project. Bivens Associates and Architects, also out of Syracuse. They are our lead architect and construction administrator for the project. Peak Construction Group is actually out of Buffalo. They're serving as our general contractor. Syracuse and Mechanical and J&E Electric, both here in Auburn, are our MEPs on the project. And we've had a number of local subcontractors assist us with the roofing and, you know, just everything. And so we're really excited that we've had a number of people contribute to the project already. And we still have a number of local bids that have to go out for our furniture and fixtures. We're hoping to hire local as much as we can.
Yeah, that's great to hear, because I know the city, that's the priority, to try to hire local contractors, to do projects. So it's really awesome that you've been able to use so many, and, I know it's important to the community. Thank you, Christina. I do want to shift over to the city manager, Jeff Dygert. So, I just wanted to thank you, Christina, for giving us an update on what's happening at the Public Safety Building. We're excited for it to come about, and we'll just wait and see here in the next few months how everything comes together. So thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. City manager, I just want to touch in with you to see if you wanted to kind of give a little bit of information or a little feedback on the Public Safety Building, and as well as, State Street as well when we get to that. But did you have any thoughts or things you wanted to mention?
Sure. Thanks for the opportunity. And I see Dr. Durant has hung in here with us for a little while. And I thank Dr. Durant. He's been a great partner with the city on several projects. And it's really good to see, because I think together the city and Cayuga Community College there's really been a lot that's been accomplished, and the college is certainly out in the community more than I can ever recall seeing. That's a great thing. And similar to the Public Safety Building, the good things that we're doing tend to be the result of collaborations. And the more we move ahead with things, we're building, I think, better collaborations with different community partners and able to get stuff done. And that's been important recently. I think it's going to continue to be important, whether that's building programs or whether that's building structures. That's how we're going to get things done in the community. So I'm happy that those relationships are there and working. The Public Safety Building, as Christina mentioned, and I want to mention that, Christina's, whenever you hear about the city getting a grant, probably 90% of the time or more, Christina's behind it somewhere, taking care of that stuff. So I appreciate that. Everybody in the community should appreciate what all of our city staff is doing, because they're working really hard, always trying to look for the best value out there and make good decisions with the public's funds. The Public Safety Building has been discussed. I can recall it back to 1991. So many of these projects, including the State Street project, which will be discussed in a moment, that's been discussed for about 20 years. So when it comes to government getting things done, sometimes you just have to be persistent and not lose hope. But we keep pushing through and we get things done. The Public Safety Building is necessary. If it's not necessary, absolutely today, down the road a very short while, it's going to be absolutely necessary. The building has some structural deficiencies that would have, we did a financial review of that and cost analysis. And had we tried to rehabilitate that building, we would have spent just about the same amount of money as we're going to spend now. And hopefully when we wrap this up in September or October, we can expect to get 50 or 80 or 90 years out of this new building, just like we did the current facility. So we're trying to make good decisions and utilize the community's funds in a responsible way. You mentioned the neighborhood, and I think in the coming weeks, you're going to probably hear more about some other projects that are going on in that neighborhood. Some of them the result of smaller DRI projects and some other funding sources that flow through CEDA in the city. So as far as this being a project that helps spin off other projects, I think that's what you're seeing in that neighborhood. It's going to improve the aesthetics of a neighborhood, and people are now looking to invest in that neighborhood. So it's doing what we hope for, and it's solving one problem and trying to put a little momentum into some other projects in that area.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much, Jeff, for giving us that, added information, with Christina's information as well. It was really, that's great. So again, thank you so much for all that you do and for all that the city staff does. And, it's just really, it's really great to see what's happening. So thank you.
Thank
Going
you.
to shift now over to Renee Jensen with the State Street Pocket Park. So Renee has some slides and a PowerPoint to show us. But Renee, before we jump into that, I just want to kind of throw out this one question. Can you just kind of highlight, how did this idea come to fruition to begin with? Can you just give like an oversight of that before you jump into your presentation?
Sure. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for having me today. Yes, so how did this site come to be what we'll be moving into shortly? In 2015, it was a city-owned parcel and a vacant city-owned parcel, and City Council really wanted to know what the community wanted to see the future site to be. And so we held a couple of community meetings at Auburn Public Theater. And at the same time, we did a market and analysis study through our Brownfield Opportunity Area Grant. And both through the community process and the market and economic analysis study, we determined the future of the site to be public space. So that is what we're moving towards and should be shortly. So
great. Thank you. So take it away.
Okay, great. Okay, I would like to screen share right now. If the host could do that, allow me to screen share, that would be great.
It should, let's see. Go ahead and try.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, thank you once again for allowing me to present an update of the State Street Public Plaza project, which is a DRI priority project. And the community knows the parcel well. It used to be the site of the old Calet department store, and this is the building. It was demolished in 2011 and has been vacant ever since. The site is 0.12 acres in size, located right downtown on our State Street corridor. As you can see, there are many surrounding buildings with businesses, restaurants, and local organizations. And as I mentioned before, the city of Auburn really looked to the public for input on the future of the site and what it's going to be developed. So in 2015, we did some outreach. We held a couple of meetings at Auburn Public Theater and determined that it should be developed as a public space. And in 2017, City Council gave direction to move forward with development of that space as public space. So therefore, we were able to secure community development block grant funding and to enter the design process. And in 2017, we released a request for proposals for a consultant to do the design work and environmental work. And that contract was awarded to Bergman Associates. And in the fall of 2017, we decided to move forward with the community input for the design process. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But at the same time, we did an environmental phase 2 site assessment, where we did a sampling plan and analysis and did testing on the site, which was deemed to be clean. We moved right ahead with the survey and then finalized the design in 2018. And once DRI funding was secure, which is the significant source of funding for this project, we were able to move forward with construction documents. The construction documents are really important for the bidding process, which we just completed. We opened bids on February 24th. And the low bid for this project was Crane Hogan from Spencerport. And we are currently working with them to get all their documentation together to bring an award resolution in front of council on March 18th. But we have been meeting with them, and we are looking at commencing work on the site in mid-April and completing work by November. November 12th is our target date. So as I mentioned, the public input process was really an important process for the vision and the design of the park. It started in 2015 when we decided to use it as public space. But then in 2017, we held a series of workshops at the Hilton Garden Inn. And we also met with stakeholders, neighboring property owners. We met with the Blueprint Group, which their input was fantastic. It was really energizing to have the youth involved. And through that, we were able to come up with 4 different designs. The 4 different designs were then presented to the public, and they voted on their favorite design. And of course, they were able to provide input, which they liked, what they didn't like. So it was a flexible process, and we were able to shift the design into what it is today, which is this. So this is the public space, the public plaza that we will be constructing starting April. And you can see we have some green space, a lot of flexible seating. That includes steps, the granite steps that can be used for seating, or the movable tables and chairs with green screens behind them that offer a little bit of privacy, and also some picnic tables towards the back of the park. So this was all designed based on community input, and we worked very closely with the neighbors of the property, and were able to provide them additional space to utilize within the park as well. So you can see to the left, there's like cafe seating areas, which AT Wally's could utilize. And in the back, there will be some additional parking. And on the other side, green space available. So it's a nice, open, relaxing space. There will be lighting within the park. And just for day use, or employees can use it that are downtown, downtown residents, tourists. So we're really looking forward to moving this project forward. As I mentioned, we got our construction drawings completed, went out to bid, and are looking forward to starting construction. But we understand that it is a tight site, as you can see here. And there will be some site constraints, and we're being very mindful of that. We're going to continue working with all the property owners, because we certainly don't want to close State Street during the process. It's going to be summertime, businesses are going to be open, restaurants are going to be busy. So we're going to do our best to really keep it on the site, keep the street open, and work diligently. It's a tight time frame. We are hoping to complete everything by November, but we're looking forward to starting and finishing the project this year. So Stephanie, I just wanted to thank you for allowing me to show some visuals and updating everybody. But if you have any additional questions, feel free to ask.
Okay, great. Thank you, Renee. That was a great presentation. A lot of good information on something great to come. You already touched upon like what the amenities the park is going to offer to the community. Folks having their lunch, in the park, or just enjoying the scenery. can you talk just a little bit about how the outdoor space will be utilized in regards to events and things that the community holds, annually that we might be able to utilize that space for?
Sure. So, and I know Jeff Dygert is here too that can jump in and help explain anything.
Yes,
Right now,
please.
right now, from my understanding, we have not set any events. It is a flexible space. So if there are events happening on State Street, certainly this can be an area that is utilized by the public, especially during those evening and weekend hours. So certainly, I mean, we haven't set anything, but it will be a very useful space.
Yeah, I think, for myself, in regards to bid, I think that's another great advantage that we'll be able to utilize that space for more room, right? To, have, those types of events and small gatherings in that space, to give more space to sidewalk traffic to visit the other businesses and the restaurants, on State Street. So, it is definitely going to be very helpful in that sense in regards to just the spatial aspect of the property itself. So yeah. Mr. Dygert.
Yes, I didn't want to interrupt, but I want to interrupt. Stephanie, as you know, working with BID, State Street's been a challenge for us for a few years, and a lot of that is good because it's coming from the perspective of growth, I guess you could say. For many years, there was nothing happening downtown. There was not much happening on State Street. And over the last few years, we've seen more businesses. We certainly have seen a dramatic increase in residential occupancy on State Street. So the last few years, we have endeavored, tried really hard to strike a balance down there. And Stephanie, I know you're very familiar with that discussion, but the public may not be. We try to strike a balance between the various types of businesses that are in that little 1-block corridor, the residential needs that are there, the desire of the community to utilize that space as an event space, right? We've shut the street down on a regular basis to hold events. But there was a point in time, I think maybe we overutilized it, and we've dialed that back a little bit. We've been a little bit more selective. I think we found kind of a happy spot there, a little bit of a compromise that is keeping our local businesses satisfied, and it's a more livable situation for the occupants of the apartments in those buildings. So we're going to continue to do that. We are building the space, and what that space will allow us to do is still conduct some of these things, but not necessarily close the street down. So that will benefit the businesses that are in that area. We don't have any plans to host huge events there. That's not the intent. The intent is just to utilize the space, have some nice green space that people that are working downtown, people that are visiting restaurants and other businesses there can go maybe have lunch there instead of in the restaurant or what have you, and enjoy some nice outdoor space. And the people that reside in that area can have some green space that they don't currently have.
I just want to kind of piggyback on a couple of things that you said, Jeff, is, yeah, agreed. We definitely over the last several years, I mean, kind of a great problem to have, right? We've had so many events and they've been so successful, and people want to come to downtown to these events. So we've had multiple and many events, but I have to say and give all the credit to the city for reaching out and engaging the community. And as Renee mentioned, those community engagements that were set up, over at the Hilton to have public meetings, to hear what people's thoughts were and to listen to what their ideas were, I think was extremely helpful, because, that's how you're going to have the buy-in to the whole entire idea of having that pocket park there. And I know a lot of the businesses on State Street, they did attend those meetings and they did give their input, which made them very comfortable, and they're very happy to see what's going to be developed in that pocket park, and they're thrilled just as well to see that come to fruition. So, I have to say I'm grateful, in representing BID, that the city just had due diligence to really reach out to everyone, and the city is the one who made that happen. And we're seeing the collaboration and the partnership, which I promote all the time. So, circling back to what Jeff said earlier about the partnerships, I mean, that's where it's at. It's the collaboration and the partnerships. And this is just a true testament to what the city has done, especially in the downtown area and throughout the city, that we're starting to see all these things come together. And there's a balance that has been struck between businesses and property owners and us who want to do events and all the great things that happen downtown, to have that balance to make everybody comfortable and feel happy with the situation. So, I am definitely thrilled and honored and proud to work where I work and be part of our community, because it's a great partnership that we all have together. And I just want to thank you all, because that's how it's supposed to be, and we're finally seeing it happen the way it should. So thank you to all of you. And I certainly don't want to leave the college out, Dr. Durant, but at the same time, as everybody knows, I'm the biggest cheerleader for the city, and my heart's with the city. So, and you are in the city, but not in downtown. So,
we cheer them on too. We cheer them on too. We all.
That's good, and we cheer you all on as well, without a doubt. We're all inclusive and collaborative. But again, it's just a testament to all of us here, right? You spoke to Dr. Durant about the collaboration and the partnerships, and look what happens when everybody has the same vision, they're open-minded, and they want to partner together. That's where success happens. So it's really a great big thank you from my end, and representing BID as well, and on behalf of BID, we want to thank all of you, especially the city. So I don't want to cut off the discussion, because I could personally talk about this all day long, and I'm sure we all have other things to do. So again, I do want to thank everyone for your time, your expertise, and certainly, if you have any questions, the community certainly could reach out to, the city manager, Christina and Renee, and certainly Dr. Durant. They can reach out to myself at BID. And again, we welcome all the great projects that are finally going to happen in the next few months, and it'll be a nice light at the end of the tunnel after COVID, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's so much just going on, not even just with the DRI projects, but I think the community again is going to have to bear with us some active transportation projects again this year. And, it's been an exciting time to live in Auburn. It really has been.
Yeah.
And how the community has really rallied around itself and its resources and heritage. And, I know I said this the last time we were on Wednesday morning roundtable for DRI, but without the community coming together and supporting the city's application, we would not be where we are right now. So, the city does appreciate when community members participate in our public meetings and requests for assistance and comments, because it really does matter when we're trying to seek funding to move along things from the comprehensive plan and other, park master plans and things that everyone has spent a lot of time on. And it's nice to just see that come to fruition. So yeah, so again, from the city to the community, again, thank you for support, and we're looking to bring all your great ideas to construction and use. So
yeah, Christina, I just want to add one thing. You talked about having the community support and the community input, And what I'll add to that is, you know, as a testament to that, you really do take people's ideas and their thoughts and you implement them into your plan. So, you know, it doesn't fall on deaf ears, and, you know, you really take to heart what the community would like to see in their community, and you make that happen. So, you know, I know I work with a lot of bids. I'm in contact with a lot of communities, and that doesn't always happen everywhere. And I have to say, in the city of Auburn, we are a true testament that you all make that happen. And it's wonderful to see. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Stephanie, I just want to make sure we recognize and let folks know Renee Jensen is our staff person that really deals with our CDBG funding in a big way, and is responsible for those allocations, and a lot of our community service organizations that we work with are through Renee. And the large investment that the city has made into our public parks and playgrounds over the last few years has been a lot of Renee's work. And when you talk about public engagement, that neighborhood engagement is what happens with each of those local neighborhood parks.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got one that y'all been working on down on Bradford Street, not too far from my house. And it's funny, I see the kids, like, you know, especially when the weather gets a little nicer, even during the winter, they're kind of inching up on the playground. I saw a couple trying to be on the playground. So it definitely makes a difference for sure for the quality of life, you know, in our neighborhood. So thank you, definitely, Renee.
Thank you.
So I'm going to turn it back over to Robert, and we will take it from there.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for being on today. The information was fantastic. It's so exciting to see some of these projects coming into Auburn and just the change they'll make to the community and quality of life here. So thank you for all the hard work that everyone's put in to make these projects go forward. To everyone watching, thank you for joining us for this bid program brought to you by Tompkins Trust Company. Next month's topic is creativity in times of COVID with the Inns of Aurora. Enjoy your day, and we look forward to seeing you next month. Thank you.